And he, just kind of broke down everything that was going to me, and I'm like, holy crap, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I mean, that's heavy. Like to hear him say it out of his own mouth, and he was real candid about the situation that he was in, and I'm like, wow. So
Welcome to the Daily Tea, and I got the tea in the receipts on R. Kelly. Here is your Daily Tea, y'all. I will be inserting clips on an interview of Don Russell, who is R. Kelly's so-called advisor. Don only been around Rob for 1 year, but been knowing him for over 30 years. R. Kelly owes the IRS $18 million in taxes. Barry Hankerson owns 18% of R. Kelly's publishing forever. That means Barry legally owned his catalog. R. Kelly never heard of royalties. That's a damn shame. He's been in the music business for over 30 years and didn't know shit. Don Russell said the reason why R. Kelly gave Barry his publishing is because of Aaliyah's situation. Barry knew R. Kelly got his niece pregnant and married her, and her father, Michael, was going to kill Rob, so he just gave Barry 18% of the catalog to resolve that issue so it can quickly go away. And Don said R. Kelly indeed had a sexual relationship with Aaliyah's mom, Diane. Yes, you heard it right. He said R. Kelly had a sexual relationship with Aaliyah's mom. I knew that shit was true. And he said Rob had a sexual relationship with Ezreal and Joycelyn's mother before he had it with their daughters. I'm not sure if this shit is true, but the Aaliyah mom situation is true because several people said they seen R. Kelly fucking Diane back in the day. And Don said R. Kelly's lawyer, Steve Greenberg, is not a good attorney. He is a traffic ticket lawyer. Nowhere in the world I will hire a lawyer who does not know how to handle such a big case as this here. So I'm going to play the clip. Here we go. Let's do it.
18% of Rob's entire publishing, not just from one song, his entire publishing catalog is signed over to Barry Hankerson and Aaliyah forever. And that's deals that people don't make. I mean, it's like, how did they get I mean, even the labels after 36 years have to return 50% of the publishing back to the original author of the publishing. So, I mean, and that poses, just remember that part of what I said, because that poses the question on some of the things that he's going through now, who's really investing in him not taking control back of his publishing. What I believe from knowing Barry and knowing how everything went down with Barry and Aaliyah and Rob was that Barry, gave that percentage to Aaliyah because of his part in the debacle that happened between Rob and the Aaliyah situation, which that was strictly Barry pushing, his niece on Rob, and and even Aaliyah's mom, who Rob had, a special relationship with, to produce her. It was like, okay, I done torn apart this family. I'm gonna make sure y'all got something to be quiet and to stay out of it. You know what I mean? Because at that time, Rob was the golden goose. So to stop them from going public on what really happened, what part Barry had in it, he gave them a percentage of what was going on.
What part happened with what?
I mean, with the whole marriage with Aaliyah, which wasn't really a marriage. It was they applied for a marriage certificate, but they never actually had a ceremony, so there was never a marriage. So that's why they went the whole route of annulment. But Rob and Aaliyah's mom was in a relationship, and Barry's and Aaliyah's father had an issue with that.
Wait. R. Kelly and Aaliyah's mom, you said, was in a relationship first?
Yeah. So
that's okay, because there was allegations that she slept with R. Kelly, but I didn't know the validity of it if she actually really was with him. So the mama, you saying the mom was with him and then he got with the daughter?
let's look at all of these scenarios between. Let's just look at the ones that people know that's public. Aaliyah, Clary, and Savage. Rob was with the mothers first. And as part of what the mothers asked Rob to do was, my daughter's a singer. Can you please look out to a trainer and get her right and make her famous, make her a star? So as him being said, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna do that.
Wait. You said Aaliyah, Clary, and Savage. That's
the Hortons, which is Aaliyah's mother.
Okay,
Savage,
and
which is Joycelyn Savage, and what is the
okay,
Clary, which is Allison Clary. They were involved with Rob. The mothers were involved with him, and they pushed the daughters on him. That's what happened in each instance.
So so you said he was with the mothers first, and so you're insinuating that he was with Joycelyn's mom first too?
Yeah. Yes.
And Ezreal's mother as well? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
In what way?
I mean, a relationship. I wasn't in the room to witness what.
Okay, we gonna say allegedly.
No, this is for real. This is out the horse's mouth. He told me, and he confirmed certain things, and that's where, when you think about how, no, listen, if it was me, allegedly, this is the king of R&B. Let's not act like there aren't women all around the world that want a piece of R. Kelly. That's just what it is. I've been there when the mother was on one side and the daughter was on the other side. And it was like, whichever one he chose, he could have it. You know what I mean? That's his life. But that's no different from a lot of these guys that's that high up in the industry. Rock stars, pop stars, all of them have the same options. You know what I mean? They can choose left or right or both. You know what I mean? So, and that's the thing. Is like people get so confused when women talk about this kind of stuff. So do men. It's like, I think some of these websites have mom and daughter. That ain't just something somebody thought up. It happens, and it happens with some of the top celebrities in this company, in this world. So Rob had a relationship with Leah's mom. The father came in the studio one day with a gun, pulled it on him, and said, "Stay the fuck away from my family." Then while he was producing them, which Barry was responsible for basically ending that situation because he's the one that started it. And that's how that backed out. There was never a marriage. It was an annulment. If anybody does the research, they'll see that. Fast forwarding ahead to Joycelyn and Allison, it's the same thing. They both went in, slept with him first. Will you produce my daughter? And then after that happened, then it was like he had the daughters, and the daughters get with him, say, "Oh, my mom trying to use you," and all this old stuff. Because each one of them presented different business deal transactions that they wanted Rob to sign off on. I think Allison had a sex dildo, and that's from the horse's mouth. She had a dildo that she wanted.
Allison Clary, right? That's Ezreal's mother.
Right. She wanted Rob to put some voiceovers, so when you turn on the dildo, it would say stuff like, "I feel so freaky tonight," all that kind of stuff while the dildo's on, vibrating. And he refused to do that. And Angelo, the father, put deals in front of him as well that Rob backed away from, and that's when things got hostile with them. Same thing with Tim Savage and Joycelyn. They had some lingerie boutiques, and they wanted Rob to buy all of the stuff out of the lingerie boutiques for his girls when he was doing the Black Panties tour. And he refused to do that, you know what I mean? And, things started going south whenever they trying to use their daughters to push things in front of them, because Rob went past after he had the mothers, and now he's with the daughters, and the daughters is filling his ears up with all the stuff that the moms are conspiring on against him. He just backed up completely. So that's the scenario of what happened between the relationship. And then you got these fathers who now didn't benefit at all. Who are just on a revenge trip right now, because you got to think about what would drive a man to go as hard. They don't care about their daughters. Ezreal's doing documentaries a day after leaving them, and Joycelyn, won't even go back to hers, and he's locked up. So if these were situations where these men had, or these families were the ones that they are trying to proclaim, it wouldn't be that difficult for Joycelyn or whatever, or Ezreal, to go back home. And it was just ran back home the moment he was locked up. But the money dried up. Ezreal, couldn't get any more money out of Rob, and and she had nothing else to fall back on, so that's why she started listening to Dad and getting involved with these documentaries and all the things that she's doing right now to generate some money. And what happened between that? What happened was she had tried to hustle him for some money, extort him for some money while he was locked up, and and he told her no, for just reasons. He doesn't have it. And from that point forward, she flew out to California, met with Shabazz. He paid her, and now she's getting money in that direction. So now all of a sudden, in order for her to have a livelihood and continue her 15 minutes of fame, she got to come out against him. But it clearly showed how somebody could love him one day, and the moment you're a non-factor, hate him the exact next. I mean, a couple of days later. So instead of him pointing that out, I think he always has opportunities to move the needle forward, but his direct responses show somebody who's not acting in the best interest of Rob, because you're supposed to consult with several attorneys and even a crisis manager and a publicist before you put out a statement. But his statements, like when he put out the statement about Rob needs to get out because he said his civil rights were violated. That's true. But then he said he also needs to go home and see his two girlfriends. Why would you put, when you file a motion for someone, and if that motion gets denied, you lose the ability to refile that motion. So now, with that being denied for his civil liberties, which is something to fight for, he coupled it with he needs to see his two girlfriends. They deny it because of the girlfriends and not his liberties were, denied. It's like the black stain on the white shirt. He just ruined the damn shirt with that. Why would you even say that? As a lawyer, you should know better than to say that. So, and then the thing about the toe. I mean, it's like, come on, stop screwing up, the precedence that these lawyers need to go after a bond or house arrest. We're putting stupid things in the pie and messing it up. And that's what he keeps doing. So it's like me as a regular person, that's not a lawyer. I have studied, my rights. I do know my rights and things of that nature, and I do study law. But lawyers are saying, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And it's not just me. I've talked to several lawyers and said, he's got to get new attorneys. And it's not up to a new attorney to fire his old one. Rob has to do that. That's just the legal code. It's a brotherhood. So
when's the last time you talked to him?
I had word from him last week.
Oh, okay. So you guys are in current communication and everything?
We communicate. We have a way of communicating, yes.
Okay. Is Joycelyn still supporting R. Kelly, or do you know what the situation is with that?
She seems to be. I mean, Joycelyn always, whenever I was in Joycelyn's company, which was, I won't say that we spent time around when we had like communication. Joycelyn was always the reserved, laid back one who was an introvert. She didn't speak much. The feisty one was always Ezreal. So it's along with my perception of Joycelyn that she's one of those women that's going to go down.
She's like loyal, basically.
She has that acumen about her. I would be surprised if she came out. She would probably have to be in some very extreme conditions, but I still don't think she has it in her to say anything negative about him. I mean, she had a very troubling experience that happened with her family. And Rob shined the light on a different thing. Rob could have been with any woman in the world for him to invite at this time in his career, Joycelyn and Az to come stay with him. They're not foolish enough not to realize that he put a lot on the line for that. And even in the end, when everybody was saying send him home, he kept him there. I mean, when he could have sent him home. I mean, so that's just the whole thing. So I think Joycelyn, to me, I don't think that we'll see her turning on Rob. I don't think that'll happen. But I've been wrong before. So, I mean, I'll put that disclaimer in there.
Ezreal had put up this reply to people. And I don't know if I can't really make it bigger, but I guess I'll just read it. So someone went on her page and they wanted to ask her what the reason was why she left R. Kelly. In her summary, she said, long story short, I left Rob because he was a liar and he was lying to Joy. Robert planned when and how he was going to let Joy go. If she was the one, she wouldn't have went 4 to 5 months without seeing him. I was the only person asked to see at visitation every time, not Joy. And the only reason why she is able to see him now is because I left. He didn't care for Joy, and I didn't like that. He was using her. And I told him that at my very last visitation to get rid of her if he didn't care. And his last words were, we have to feed the tiger before the tiger bites us, not meaning me, but him. So Ezreal wrote that on her Instagram. And I was going to put that I'm still going to put that in a separate video, but I want to know your thoughts as to her saying that.
If she even wrote it. I doubt she wrote that. That sounds like something that someone wrote on her behalf, but that's not true. I mean, Rob, from my vantage point, and I've only been around him about a year, directly about a year and a half. It's like you don't have to. When you know who you are and what you mean to someone, you don't have to revalidate that every day. Joycelyn was the one that constantly needed to be paid attention to. Not Joycelyn, Ezreal, I'm sorry. Ezreal was, not Joycelyn. I mean, Joycelyn already knew her position with Rob. So so for her to say that, that's backwards. I mean, Ezreal was always slipping away. She was always fighting. She was always pushing her weight around. And I did peep that on several occasions. But Joy didn't do that. She was more relaxed, calm, and laid back. So, and it was a lot of occasions where Joycelyn was the only one that was with Rob. I mean, they spent a lot of time together. And if you actually look at some of the women that Rob has dated in his past, she fits in that same, the ones that he cared about, not the ones that he's been with, the ones that he cared about. She fits within that same style.
Teresa is R. Kelly's sister. She been molesting him since he was 7 years old. She is the oldest Kelly in the family, and she also molested all of her siblings, all 3 of her brothers, Bruce, Robert, Carrie.
So, I mean, me and Rob sat down. I had to ask him some real tough questions about that, about who did it, how many times it was done, how often it happened, how long did it happen in your career, in your life.
Is his sister still alive that did it? Or?
Yeah, Teresa's still alive. Matter of fact, she's living in a house that he bought for.
Wait. You're saying that Rashana Lamphere is Sparkle's daughter?
Well, when she went off and got her career as a musician, she had a child, and her family raised a child, and that was her sister and brother-in-law that raised a child, and that's Lashana.
Everybody watching right now, hit the like button. Somebody said Angelo is live right now talking shit. I mean, Angelo is always talking shit, threatening people. Okay, how do you feel about Drea Kelly?
I have no feeling, no emotion towards her at all, but I know truths about Drea that she just needs to back down because it don't even make sense. Some of the stuff that she's went through with him, the whole situation with the child, and she almost got locked up by child services, and he didn't allow that to happen to us. And the fact that man, how many times I went to Rob and said, Rob, your child support needs to be reduced. The law states 20% of your earnings. You're not making any money. She's actually making more money than he was at one point. Why are you still paying? And then 2 of the kids are over 18, and he would not allow us to get his child support reduced. I mean, so the fact that this man never, you got to realize, those kids 18, he's never once abandoned his, role as paying child support. Andrea's pissed off because there was a reality show that she had the opportunity to film when she lost Cougar Queens, reality show that she was in. Her horrible behavior is why the show got canned, and her mismanagement of funds is why it got canceled. And they gave an opportunity to rehash it, but they wanted Rob in it. And he chose not to be in it because he's like, I'm not going to go on camera and act like we're together. We're not together. So that's when she started all of a sudden jumping out there and jumping on the other side, because she wasn't originally a part of it. But she came in like she was the head diva, and he wasn't paying child support, so she got all these expensive. She didn't lean out in life, so now she needs to make money. So joining the other side was the same thing that all the rest of them are doing right now because it paid better.
Support my channel. The link for my Cash App is in the description box. Also, subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button now for more hot piping tea. I need to check out the Shabazz documentary. I heard it's ghetto. I gotta see it for myself. Don also claims the first girl on a sex tape back in the 90s, Sharonda Landfield, is actually Sparkle's daughter. and Sparkle's entire family framed R. Kelly back in 2006. I know this shit is a lie. I saw the sex tape. That young girl on the tape isn't Sparkle's daughter. Hell, Sparkle was a young girl at the time. How the fuck that could be Sparkle's daughter? Sharonda is her niece, not her daughter. Most of the things Don Russell is saying does sound true. Then, some of it I know is a bold-faced lie. So that's the Daily Tea on the R. Kelly situation. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think of Don Russell interview that he did today regarding his so-called pal R. Kelly, who he so-called advised or counseled in his time of need, since his no good ass child molesting ass is behind bars. So leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button and share this video. And I'll see you guys on the next Daily Tea. Peace.